Oh,
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now.
Alexa,
A little later.
Alexa, stop listening. What a mess, y'all. Hi everyone, my name is Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty, and welcome to my fourth episode, I believe. So it is Tuesday, January 29th. I know, my whole life is a lie. I'm actually recording a day early because tomorrow on Wednesday we are going to a Dallas Stars game, and I just don't know if I'll have enough time like between when I get home from work and when we have to leave to go to Dallas for the game. So I'm just recording a day early, and I haven't had as much time to knit. I've lost a day, but then next week I'll have an extra day of knitting because I'll record on Wednesday of next week. So I'll be happy then. But I have my friend right here. He's laying on the steps, little toaster. He might be walking around. If he starts barking, I'll try to cut things off and go back. Also, I have a really lovely other friend in the background. So this room is the first level of our house. It's my yarn room, but we moved into this house a few months ago and we're just still kind of moving. So we went over to a place where some of our stuff was stored and piled a bunch of stuff into my car, and then we were too tired to like take it out of my car. And so by the time we did, we just brought it into this first floor down here. And so now there's a mini refrigerator. But look, I put my like container of scrap yarn that I use for Scrappy Sunday on top. So it looks like it's part of the decor, right? Oh, wow. But anyway, my name is Natalie. I live in the Dallas area of Texas. And my fun fact for today is that I have been knitting for 13 years, I think. 13 years. And then, you know, a little break in there for college. So 13 years-ish. But I wanted to show you guys, last week I talked about, I think I talked about my first project, like when I learned to knit was a blanket. It wasn't my very first project, but it was one of the first things that I really remember making and learning from. I made a blanket out of Lion Brand homespun, and it's a really tricky yarn to work with because it's like this kind of chunky yarn that's fluffy and it has this spiral string through it. So as I knit with it, I don't know how it is for everybody else, I kind of push it down, and then I would have this like 10-inch long stiff, like just, it was a nightmare to work with. Somehow I have 2 blankets out of this stuff. Now, if you do have anything out of Lion Brand homespun, maybe it doesn't bother you when you're knitting with it. One way to keep it soft so it doesn't like squeak like acrylic, when you wash it, you know, wash it normally, but when you put it in the dryer, stick like 3, 4, 5 dryer sheets in there and it will make it super, super soft. So this is my blanket. Oh, I've had it for a long time. It has basically pink and green squares. So you can see there's like holes because I didn't really know how to seam. There's also this, which is like a boucle yarn. I remember making a scarf out of this. The scarf out of this might have been like my first true project. Like I definitely had knitted practiced before I knit with this boucle, but I found this covered up mistakes really nicely. This boucle scarf that I have was like, one side was straight and one was like this. I don't know how I made that happen. Usually you have wavy edges on both sides when you first knit. I did like a horrific border, which I would never do again. This is just all something that I made up. But I'm pretty sure I like knitted, see how this just goes and goes and goes? I'm pretty sure I like knitted these panels and then like learned how to decrease or something. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that this is all, see here, you get a pink border on the short side and a green border on the long sides. I don't know. I was just making it up as I went along. I'm sure it probably took me 3 years to make this blanket, but I was obsessed, and now I have this pretty massive thing. But yeah, I thought that would be fun to show you as, you know, as my kind of first project that I can really remember. So if you want to share what your first project was, feel free to comment down below. I love reading what you guys think and how you can like relate to the things that I'm showing. So tell me your first project. I would love to hear it. Okay, also I need to talk about this. Oh, those are the little ends. So this week on my Instagram channel, I have been showing finished object pictures of my Texture Time shawl, which is by Stephen West. This was part of his, or this was his mystery knit along this past fall in 2018. It was the first time that I participated in the mystery knit along. The reason that I really wanted to participate was I saw 2017's shawl Speckle and Pop, and I saw people working on it, but I didn't know about it until it had already started. So in 2017, I said, in 2018, I am committed to the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. I'm gonna make it. So this is what it ended up being, and it was epic. It did not disappoint. There are 5, actually mine has 6 colors, but the shawl called for 5 colors, 4 fingering weight and 1 mohair. The mohair that was used that Stephen suggested was like a Ching melted suri, I think, which is a bit of a thicker mohair. So I actually doubled my lace weight mohair to get this look. But yeah, so you started, oh, I can just feel my ring caught on it. There we go. You started with this center V, and this is all syncopated brioche, which I had never done before. So that was new skill number 1, was syncopated brioche, and you use all 5 of your colors here. You can see that the neon's not in it because I didn't decide to add neon until later. So syncopated brioche, and then you have these crazy increases. See those holes? That was also something I'd never done before. So that was pretty fun. So that whole little section was section 1. And then these little like wavy people, these 2 wings were section 2. And this was the second week of the knit along. So you can see that the garter part here is the mohair, and then this is actually Latvian braids. And I chose 2 colors like that really were similar, so it's hard to tell, at least on camera, that those are 2 different colors, but those were a pain. I've done Latvian braids in the round and on a smaller number of stitches, and they were a lot easier, but it was worth it in the end, because you got to like kind of learn a new technique, and after a week, if you finish on time, which I didn't, then you were done with it. The third section was this part, and this is when I decided to add in the neons. So all of my colors, you can see in the center, very much blend together, and the neon was a color option I had in the beginning, like when I was trying to decide on my first 5 colors. So I thought it'd be fun, it'd be very Stephen West like to just add it in. So I added it in, and I'm really glad I did. So this was the 4th section. I used more of like one of my more neutral colors, which is still really, really beautiful, with this neon, which is from Leading Men Fiber Arts. And all of my yarns are linked on my project page, which is not too far down. So you can go there and see all of my yarns and all the colorways. They're very current because I bought all of this yarn except for the mohair at SSK, Super Summer Knit Together, in the summer of 2018. Then the last section was, I think that was my favorite because I was excited to be done. And also it was kind of one of the shorter ones. And it was just easy. It was garter stitch. It was 1 color, and he called these kitty paws. So here you have those crazy increases again, and then little tiny lace holes, little yarn overs. It's so cute. So when I finished this thing, oh, this is, if you want to make it bigger, he actually had a border that went on like the whole bottom. But I actually saw some people's finished because I was behind. So I got to see some people's finished and decided that not only did I not want to knit, I wanted to be done, but I didn't like it enough to do it. So I decided not to do the border. But I'm really happy because mine is very, very big. So I didn't know how I was going to wear it. I thought I would never wear it, but I've actually ended up wearing this every day. So sometimes if I'm just wearing it like out, I'll put the triangle in the front, just like a normal shawl. And then I'll just bring these over. And it's big, but it's really not like that much bulkier than some of my other shawls because it doesn't hang too long. So I like wearing it this way. But I usually keep it on my couch and I just kind of take it at night and I put it over my shoulders and I let it hang down, and it hangs down like so long that it's actually a perfect shape for staying on your shoulders. Like I can move and do stuff like magic and it's not going to come off because it's got those really long straight pieces. So yeah, I thought I would share, even though it's not a recent finish. I hadn't taken finished object pictures yet, and I've been putting them on Instagram this week, so I thought I would talk a little bit about it. I'm definitely already in for next year to knit Steven's next mystery knit along. He's been doing it for many years, so I see no reason why there won't be one in 2019. I love it. Okay, let's talk about more recent projects. And I also have some, like, it's starting to get to the end of the month. And at the end of the month is usually when I'm, I have some goals to like finish projects and start new ones, especially when it comes to socks and smaller projects like that. So let me show you those. I was getting a little too hyper there, so I had to stop for a second and get some water and calm down. But look, he's still there. I love him. Okay, I have one finished object this week, and this has been on the needles for a little while. I think I might have even started it in 2018, maybe in December. But this is, so let me start with, in the fall sometime, we took a trip to Washington and we went to a couple yarn stores, me and my husband and his family. And they went to the yarn stores for me, but I wanted to get something special, a special yarn. I'm always on the lookout for like local yarns when I visit places. And so I got some Spin Cycle, which I have wound here. But Spin Cycle is like a hand spun look. And this like marl texture, where it's got the gray and the yellow, two different colors, is kind of what they're known for. And it's also made in Washington. So I got this yarn and I knew I needed to do something like, I wanted to use up most of the yarn, which you can see that I didn't, but I wanted to use up most of the yarn. So I thought it'd be really fun to make a hat, but I wanted to tone this down just a little bit. This is not, yellow is not the best color on me unless it's bright. So I knew I needed to make it more neutral. So that's when I got this gray. So this is Crystal Palace. I got this 12, 13 years ago. I don't know, so many years ago, but I put the dark, like charcoal gray mohair with the light gray yellow. And that's what I got this. So it really kind of, neutraled this out. And then this hat is something that I've kind of went back and forth whether I was gonna release it as a paid for pattern, like get it tested, or if I was just gonna put it on my blog as a free pattern and just have it more as, not as polished, but kind of just out there for people to take and do what they want with. So I am gonna put it on my blog as a free pattern. It will be written in my size with suggestions on how you can make it bigger, because I have a tiny little toddler head and this is a really fitted hat. So this is pretty small. So I just wanted to kind of show it to you before I put it on the blog. But yeah, so it's got ribbing and a mock cable. You hold the mohair and the Spin Cycle or a similar yarn. Like you could use your own hand spun, or you could use, there's like I can't remember the brand of it, but maybe I can find it and put on the screen. It's called, they're like Millens basically, but they have the same kind of texture, but multiple colors. I think that would be really fun in this hat because it's just so simple. It's rib and a mock cable. So just twisted stitches. And then the top of the hat, I took care to try to keep that pattern going, kind of just fades in, but you don't have just that circle right away where it goes back to stockinette. So it's a little bit wet still because I finished it last night and blocked it and tried to like let it air out today, but it's a cold day, so it didn't really get dry. But there you go. So it's definitely stretched out. When I wet blocked it, once I'd squeezed out all the water, I spent some time just kind of like working it with my hands, like stretching it and going like this, so that when I laid it flat to dry, it was already stretched out. And I think that helped get it a little better fitting. So it's not so small. I guess just for reference, I think my head is 20.5 inches or 21 inches. So it's definitely like an adult small. But yeah, it looks pretty good. I am always in constant danger of making my hats too short, always. So when I write this on the blog, it's gonna have one more like 4-row repeat, because I think that you just need a little bit more length, and that would be really great. But yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm thinking about putting a pom-pom on it. I have this one, but this one's like maybe a little too gray. It's also super huge because I have a tiny little head. So I'm not really sure if I can do the giant pom-pom look. Maybe. Let me know. Oops. Let me know what you think. Also, I'm trying to decide what to name this hat. I think I might go with the uncreative spin cycle hat and just call it the spin cycle hat. Maybe I should check with spin cycle and make sure that's okay first. But yeah, this is just, it's really great for their yarn. So spin cycle plus mohair, easy cables. Oh, other thing I was gonna say is I really struggled to get this done because it was bothering my hands. And that's because I was knitting this on a 16-inch needle, which is what you normally would do for a hat. But I think because you have to do these twisted stitches and ribbing for my body to get that manipulation, I need a longer needle than like the tips that come on 16-inch needles. So when I switched to doing this on Magic Loop, 32-inch needles with like that regular, maybe it's a 5, maybe if it's a 6-inch tip for circular needles, my hands felt so much better. So just a tip, if you usually have like sensitive, you knit a lot, you might want to start the hat on just like doing Magic Loop or double points, and that might be better for your hands. But that's my finished object for this week. I have been working on my sock pattern as well. Last week I had this one finished. This is, Malia has since released the color. I think she had always had the colorway out, but this is called Romilda Vane's Box of Chocolates. And last week I never even talked about the name of this pattern. So this is a Harry Potter, uh-oh, hopefully no one's coming. Oh, I'll be right back. All right, I think it's okay to carry on. My husband just came home, so now the dog is off his throne, but let's talk about the socks. Because the sun is setting. I hate this time of year. Okay, but like I was saying, this is a Harry Potter themed colorway. Malia from Malia Made It dyed these up for Valentine's Day, and the color is called Romilda Vane's Box of Chocolates. He's back. So it's just so beautiful. It's light pink, medium pink, dark pink, red, reddish pink, and then of course a chocolatey brown. So this is all from, I think it's the 6th Harry Potter book and movie, which is the Half-Blood Prince. I'm almost sure because we just watched that movie recently. And Romilda Vane has a crush on Harry, and she sends him a box of chocolates. And of course, the chocolates are filled with a love potion. So that's Romilda Vane's Box of Chocolates. Now, the sock pattern is called Baubles and Bezoars. Or in the movie, they say Bezoars, but if you Google the word Bezoar, the pronunciation says Bezoar. So Bezoars or Bezoar, however you want to say it. Basically, it's a representation of these tiny little bauble-like things. Oh no, it looked like I messed up. These tiny little baubles that really aren't baubles. They're much easier than that. You don't have to go back and forth. But a bezoar is a stone. It's an actual thing. It's a stone from the stomach of like a ruminating animal, which I think means like goats and cows, maybe things that eat grass. I'm no expert, but it is a real thing. But in the movies, a bezoar is an antidote to poison. So what happens is Ron eats Harry's box of chocolates from Romilda Vane, and he gets struck with the love potion, which is really, really strong because the chocolates have sat for a long time. So Harry takes Ron to one of the professors, Professor Slughorn, who is the potions master, to get an antidote to the love potion. And when he gets the antidote to the love potion, Ron is really sad because he's coming down off this high. He thought he was in love. And they decide they'll have some like mead or wine or something. The mead was poisoned because, well, anyway, it's a long story. If you're not a Harry Potter fan, you probably tuned this out. But the mead was poisoned, so now Ron is poisoned instead of just love potion. So Harry saves him with a bezoar, which is a stone. So Baubles and Bezoars goes with Romilda Vane's box of chocolates. And it's just, if you're a Harry Potter fan, it's just a fun reference. If you're not, you know what baubles are. So, but this pattern is gonna come out on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. I've got my second sock going, and my testers, some of them have finished their socks already. A lot of them are using this color, but a lot of them picked a different color of Malia's, and some used other yarn dyers. So it's really fun to see how it works in the different self-striping yarns. I designed the pattern to be guided by when your stripes fall into place. So as long as you have even striping sock yarn, you should be able to knit this pattern no problem. I have my chocolate frog again from Simply Serving HK, and I am at the point where I need to do one more band of these little baubles, but I've been waiting to do them for several days because while it's not a tricky stitch, I wasn't able to find a standard term for what I'm doing. So I wanted to see if my husband could record me like doing it. It won't be a super professional video, but I'm gonna put it on my YouTube channel. I think I can figure out how to put it where only the people who get the pattern can have the link. But if not, it'll just be there because I would rather you know how to do the stitch and feel confident than have questions. My testers, most of them got it, but they did have a couple questions, so that just makes me want to make sure that you know how to do it. So these are kind of just on hold until we can get some daylight to record it, hopefully tomorrow. Okay, I have also put a little bit of work onto my sweater. I'm probably going to show this every week, and there is not much going on with it because I'm just doing stockinette, but I will show you anyway. Again, I really only worked on it at knit night, which seems to be a trend, but I felt like I got a lot done for knit night. So this is the Canyon Cardigan, but the pattern is just called Canyon by Devin Ventre, who's Knitty McPurley, and I'm using Suburban Stitcher in her Cinder colorway. So I have finished the bottom part, which was all garter stitch and short rows, and now I'm working on the stockinette. So you can see my little waffle from Sucre Miniatures is down here, and so I knit quite a few inches on quite a few stitches. So I feel like that was an accomplishment. You can see that my yarn is kind of striping, more like striations a little bit. I'm alternating with Indie Dad yarn. I like to alternate skeins, but the striping is not from me alternating skeins, or else it would be a lot more like even. It's just kind of from the yarn, which is interesting because you can sort of see it in the garter, but it breaks up more into little sections. It doesn't bother me, but I just thought you should know I see it. I do see it, and I know that it's there, and I'm okay with it. So I'm going to keep going on. Okay, the last bit here that I want to talk about is I've been doing some fantasy knitting, like really, really, really bad. I want to cast on quite a few things, and I have yarn for them sitting right here. So I'm going to talk about them. My socks should be done really soon, probably not by the end of January, but pretty close to it. And I'm going to cast on a new pair of socks for February. So at first I really wanted to work with this yarn from Yarn Carnival. This yarn you've seen recently because I got it at the Modern Skein when I visited just a few weeks ago. So I really wanted to cast this on because I just got it. But I think I'm going to save this for a little while because I'm going to cast on, I'm pretty certain, with this yarn. So there are like 3 reasons I want to use this yarn. This is Vesper sock yarn. It was a Rainbow of the Month club, and it's called Golden Hour Harvest. I'm not familiar with this dyer. This was a gift, so this is one of the reasons I want to start with it. It was a gift from my friend for Christmas, so I'd love to get started on it. But she got the club, and I don't know if it's Knitterly Things Vesper sock yarn must be the base. I don't know if the Rainbow of the Month club is colorways that are repeated or not, but I'm sure you can go to the Knitterly Things website and see maybe and sign up for the Rainbow of the Month sock club if you want to. This one's from November 2017. Yeah, so if you are looking for a good gift for knitters and you're a knitter, you should give them yarn from your stash because I bet they will love it, which I do. It's sparkly. So 1, I want to cast this on because my friend gave it to me for Christmas. 2, February is Suburban Stitcher's Rainbow Along. I don't know if it's exclusively socks. I don't know. Suburban Stitcher, you can go over to her Ravelry page and her site to see. But she's doing a rainbow along for the month of February, at least. And then the other reason, one of my friends on Instagram, her handle is This Girl Knits. She is doing a Love Equality cowl with rainbow yarn for the month of February. So kind of like, because February is Valentine's Day and everyone deserves to have someone who loves them, she's doing the Love Equality cowl. So I thought that would just be too much fun. I love rainbows, so I like color. I'm doing rainbows. But yeah, so there's 3 reasons why I think these are gonna be my February socks. So we'll see next week what I've got on the needles. Another thing I wanna cast on is not even out yet. Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn designed a simple hat pattern. It looks like it's a fingering weight held with a mohair. It's a folded brim, slightly slouchy, just like perfect beanie. So I thought it would be fun. You hush. Seriously. I thought it'd be fun if I used her yarn. So this is actually from Dragon Horde and Yarn Cafe Creations Advent Calendar. So I don't even know if it was Tristan that dyed this, but this is my Hufflepuff yarn and it is just so stunning. This was Toaster. Oh.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now.
Alexa.
A little later.
Alexa, stop listening. What a mess, y'all. Toaster, it's okay, buddy. Anyway, what I was saying is this is the 24th day 25th day you got a full skein from Dragon Horde and Yarn Cafe Creations. And then I have this a Homespun House mohair fresh sheets that I thought I could pair. Gosh, that'll be so pretty for a hat. So that's something else I want to cast on, but Tristan hasn't released the pattern yet. She said it'll be a free hat pattern. And the last thing, and then I better go so I can take care of my dog. Come here, you wanna come over here? There's an obstacle of stuff in the way. I would love, once I finish this sweater, which I know is gonna be a long time, I'm not delusional, I wanna cast on Joji Locatelli's newest sweater pattern called All of the Lights. And since I learned some new tricks, I can insert a picture of that pattern right here from Joji's project or pattern page. So All of the Lights is this stunning cabled like coat-like sweater. I believe it's a DK, so I've pulled a DK weight out of my stash that I think I'm gonna use. But it's just the most beautiful sweater. It has all these details like cables on the pockets and cables down the side. It doesn't look like it has a like you don't pick up and do a ribbing band, like it's finished when you finish it, which I think is so great that Joji is doing that. So I actually bought this yarn with another one of Joji's sweater patterns in mind, another cabled cardigan. And I think I'm gonna change my mind because I'm the boss of my knitting, and so are you. I think I'm gonna change my mind and knit All of the Lights in a solid colorway. So as you saw from the picture, she used Primrose yarn in a very like speckled, heavily speckled, different colors colorway. But I even though I really did love that more than I thought, I think I'll get more use out of a gray cardigan. So I have this is Miss Babs Yowza. I've got 3 skeins of it, which I haven't even checked it if it's enough. So this could all be just, it's a fantasy knit. The colorway is Slate. Yowza is a worsted weight-ish. It's a little bit of a light worsted weight. And it's 560 yards in 1 skein. I mean, these are massive. So round it down to 500 because I can do that math. This is 1,600 yards actually. So yeah, that's a lot of yarn. It was, I think, enough to make one of her other cabled cardigans, so I'm hoping it's enough for all of the lights. But that's the last of my fantasy knitting. Oh man. Ah! So I wanted to remind you guys that I have a Ravelry group now called Love and Stitches if you just go search it. And we have, I think, 60 members now, which is amazing. Several people have been putting in there's 2 threads right now, like how you started knitting or crocheting. So definitely go read that. There's some great stories in there. And then another one is a fun fact. So go read through those. I didn't share any this week, but I definitely need to next week because they're a lot of fun. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna go before it is completely dark outside. Have a wonderful week. Bye.